welcome to Lisa's Mom and My Dad Listens to This. I'm Juliet, the daughter.
And I'm Kevin, the dad.
And we're doing a Saturday edition. And this week, we are saying, hey, nice to meet you. Or rather, nice to meet me. Because we're talking about the, is it fair to say cult band?
Yeah, maybe, depending who you are.
Fair enough. We're talking about the Replacements. So, Dad, what do we need to know?
Well, we need to know that the album we'll be reviewing is Pleased to Meet Me.
I thought it was Nice to Meet Me. Why did I think it was Pleased to Meet Me?
I don't know, but it's Pleased.
Well, I'll change the title on
Okay,
my
good.
Google Doc here. Okay, there we go.
This is live, folks. The Replacements were Paul Harold Westerberg, vocals, guitar, born December 31st, 1959 in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Westerberg? Meet Osterberg.
Thomas Eugene Stinson, bass, born October 6, 1966, Minneapolis. Robert Neil Stinson, guitar, born December 17, 1959, Waconia, Minnesota. Died February 18, 1995, in Minneapolis.
Oh.
Christopher Edward Mars, drums, born April 26, 1961, Minneapolis. And Robert Bruce Slim Dunlap, guitar, born August 14, 1951, Minneapolis. Died December 18th, 2024, Minneapolis.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised we didn't do an episode when that happened. But maybe I just missed it.
I missed it too. In 1978, 19-year-old Bob Stinson got his 11-year-old brother Tommy a bass guitar to keep him off the streets. That same year, Bob met Chris Mars, a high school dropout. Mars started on guitar but switched to drums. The trio called themselves Dog Breath.
Okay.
And covered songs by Aerosmith, Ted Nugent, yes, just classic rock stuff, but without a singer. So you're just getting instrumentals.
Is there another band named Dog Breath? I feel like I've heard that somewhere else.
Yeah, it could be. It's Dog's Breath.
That's true.
Can't remember who that was. Anyway,
Dog's Breath Devereaux, when did that play?
That's it. One day, Paul Westerberg, who was working as a janitor in Minnesota Senator Dan Durenberger's office, passed the Stinson house and heard the band playing. He was impressed and regularly listened in after work. Mars knew Westerberg and invited him over to jam. Westerberg, not knowing that Mars was Dog's Breath's drummer. The band auditioned for singers and found one, but Westerberg really wanted to be the band's singer. So he took the guy that they found aside and said, "The band doesn't like you."
No.
The guy left and Westerberg moved in, which was probably good for the rest of the band because he wrote the bulk of the songs.
Yeah, but then it kind of went all downhill from there because for those who don't know, Westerberg has a reputation for being a little difficult.
That's putting it nicely.
Yes, I know.
But he also brought discipline along with him as the other members drank and drugged, with music being an afterthought. When the band discovered first-generation punk bands like The Clash and the Buzzcocks, they changed their name to The Impediments.
Okay.
After getting banned from a church hall for playing a drunken set, they changed their name again, this time to The Replacements. Per Chris Mars, quote, "Like maybe the main act doesn't show and instead the crowd has to settle for an earful of us dirtbags. It seemed to sit just right with us, accurately describing our collective secondary social esteem," unquote. The band's nickname was The Mats.
Okay.
Like, as in placemats.
Oh, haha.
Which was shorter. They got a 4-song demo to Peter Jesperson, who along with Paul Stark had founded Twin Tone Records. He was impressed and asked if they wanted to do a single or an album. Westerberg had written an album's worth of material. The album, Sorry Ma, Forgot to Take Out the Trash, was released on August 25th, 1981. It got great reviews from the local press. They followed up with an EP on June 24th, 1982, Stink, which was built around the opening track, Kids Don't Follow. The band started distancing themselves from the hardcore punk scene. Westerberg started writing songs that incorporated different musical styles. One song was an acoustic ballad, You're Getting Married One Night. Bob Stinson told Westerberg to save it for his solo album. Little realizing. Anyway, Westerberg said that he realized his toughest audience was the band itself.
No, that's fair, especially if you're in a band riddled with tension. Then that's a recipe for explosion.
Their second full album, Hoot Nanny, came out April 29th, 1983. Again, more great reviews. Now they were stretching out musically, incorporating blues, country, and rockabilly into their punk. They started getting attention outside Minneapolis. They hit the road with Tommy Stinson dropping out of 10th grade to go on tour.
Wow.
go on tour, see the country,
Okay,
sit in class.
I gotta ask this. If that had been me in 10th grade and I had the opportunity to go on tour or drop out of East Providence High School, what would you have said to me?
Get a GED.
Fair enough. Okay. I
Okay,
love you.
I love you too. Once they played Gerd's Folk City in New York City, it did not go well. Peter Jesperson, who had become the replacement's manager, said they were so loud and obnoxious they cleared the place out.
Oh, jeez.
But somehow they did manage to support REM on an 8-date tour. They decided they should alienate the audience as much as possible.
Here we go.
The tour didn't go well, with members threatening to quit at various points.
Members of REM or the replacements or both?
I'm assuming just the replacements.
Mm.
The replacements' next album, Let It Be, came out October 2nd, 1984.
Not that one.
Well, they
Huh?
got the title by listening to the radio and they decided whatever song came on next was gonna be the album title. Cue the Beatles.
Did they get in legal trouble? Or not really, considering
No.
it's just a phrase and there's no trademark on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
They got more rave reviews, and then the major labels came a-calling.
And then Trablish or not yet?
There was always troubles with the band,
Yeah. Okay.
They were kind of their own worst enemy in some ways. The Replacements signed with Sire Records because it was the Ramones label. Label owner Seymour Stein recruited Thomas Erdely, yes, Tommy Ramone himself,
Whoa.
to produce their next album, which they called Tim because it just sounded nice. Tim was released on October 15th, 1985, and once again, more rave reviews.
Like in Monty Python and the Holy Grail. What do they call you? They call me Tim?
Yes. The Replacements toured from 1985 into 86 and appeared on Saturday Night Live on January 18th, 1986.
Let me guess, Lorne kicked them off and banned them.
Because a profanity-laced performance
Here we go.
ensured Lorne Michaels of banning the Mats from SNL, though Paul Westerberg did return as a solo artist in 1993 and did play replacement song.
Okay, so I guess Lorne must have thought a little bit.
In August of 1986, Bob Stinson was forced out of the band due to his alcohol and drug abuse, which must have been a lot as all the members drank and drugged.
We're doing it, yeah.
Yeah, and Bob Stinson would later say that he started the band and he ended it when he left, and there are fans out there who totally agree with him.
I can see that, like, when your favorite band member leaves, the band is dead to you from that moment. Mike Schaubs has that with AC/DC. I have that with Pentatonics when Avi left. Everybody's got that, I think. What's that for you? If you have one?
I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
Fair enough.
Off the top of my head, I really can't say. Now the Replacements were a trio for Pleased to Meet Me, which was released March 3rd, 1987. Minneapolis guitarist Slim Dunlap played lead guitar on the subsequent tour and soon became a full member of the band. Pleased to Meet Me got great reviews, though some fans thought it was the beginning of the end.
Really?
Strings on the Replacements record?
I don't have a problem with them, but maybe it's because I'm not like a hardcore Replacements fan who was around for the beginning since, I was born in 1999.
That's no excuse. Don't Tell a Soul came out February 1st, 1989, and they were back to being a quartet. It got good reviews for the most part. Following a disastrous tour opening up for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers,
Uh-oh.
Paul Westerberg was planning to record a solo album, but management talked him into doing it as a Replacements album. Some songs have session musicians in addition to the other Replacements. Chris Mars brought a cassette of a song he'd written for the album, but Westerberg rejected every single song. All Shook Down was released on September 25th, 1990, and Chris Mars left the band in November. Steve Foley was brought in to replace Mars for the 6-month tour in 1991. They played their last show on July 4th, 1991, at the Taste of Chicago Food Festival in Grant Park.
Okay.
Paul Westerberg went on to become a solo artist. Bob Stinson died in 1995 of organ failure due to his drug use.
Oh, shit.
Tommy Stinson, get this, became Guns N' Roses bass player in 1998 and stayed with them until 2016.
That's a long time.
That is, that's 18 years.
That's impressive.
Chris Mars is a painter, the art kind, not the house kind. Slim Dunlap suffered a stroke in 2012.
Oh.
Paul Westerberg and Tommy Stinson reunited and put out an EP of cover songs for Slim to raise money for him.
Oh, that's nice.
Dunlap died on December 18th, 2024. The Replacements have been eligible for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame since 2006, and I have no idea why they're not in
They
yet.
should get in. It's the Music Hall of Fame now. Let's just let everybody in.
Yeah.
Like Canada, they have a Music Hall of Fame, so let's just change the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to the Music Hall of Fame, and then kumbaya and we'll all be fine.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, at least they got a tribute song from They Might Be Giants with the Replacements.
Which was very good. I don't think I would have appreciated it as much until I listened to this album. And my favorite part is when the lead singer screams, I don't wanna! I'm like, you know what? That one line just captures it perfectly.
As for me, I first heard the Replacements on WBRU back in 1987
R.I.P.
when they played Alex Chilton from Pleased to Meet Me. Then they played Can't Hardly Wait, and I thought, okay, they're 2 for 2. I'm going to get the CD. And I think it was last year that I was able to find Rhino's 2008 remaster of the album with 11 bonus tracks included, which, hey, good for Rhino. In 2020, Rhino released a deluxe edition that contained 3 CDs and 1 LP.
Okay.
Oh,
Is that allowed?
I guess. I mean, that's pretty unique for 2020. As an aside, Rhino got their hands on the entire Replacements catalog, remastered all the albums, put bonus tracks on every single one.
Do they sound good? Do you know?
From what I've heard, yeah, they do, because it's Rhino and they're going to do a good job.
Okay.
I also borrowed the Rhino compilation album, Don't You Know Who I Think I Was, from the library.
I like that.
And just downloaded all the stuff that I didn't have. Now, as for Pleased to Meet Me, like I mentioned earlier, the Replacements were a trio with Slim Dunlap replacing Bob Stinson just in the studio and then eventually full-time. The cover is a nod to Elvis Presley's album G.I. Blues with the layout and font. Anyway, did you get to see that picture I sent?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
It's pretty, on the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, as for the photo, it's supposed to mock the Replacements' transition from punks to successful musicians.
I can see that with the sleeves that they're wearing.
Yeah, it depicts a handshake between someone wearing a suit and someone wearing a ripped work shirt. The guy wearing the ripped work shirt, that was Paul Westerberg. And according to him, they had to hire a hand model, not George Costanza, for the rich guy because nobody in the band owned a watch.
Really?
Really?
Okay, that's a weird reason, but sure, whatever floats your boat.
Hey, good for them. Well, I mean, it's a really nice watch.
Oh, like a nice watch. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a Rolex or Omega or something.
Yeah, something that's going to cost a minimum of 3, maybe 4 figures. As for the title, Pleased to Meet Me, Westerberg said, that was Tommy's line. Whether he took it from Johnny Rotten, I don't know. But it was, pleased to meet me, the pleasure is all yours. But for this album, is the pleasure all ours? Let us find out.
Well, can I tell you about how I first encountered this album as a kid?
Sure.
I don't know if you'll remember this, but when I was little, ABC used to air all the Disney Channel shows on Saturday morning. One of them was the cartoon, The Replacements.
I vaguely remember that, yep.
For those who don't remember, or for those of my generation who missed out on it, Todd and Riley were kids in an orphanage who were oh so sad. Then they came across a Fleamco ad. They sent away $1.98, got a super spy mom, and a daredevil dude-to-front dad. And they had their talking car. And I saw that, was watching that cartoon. You came in and you go, oh, there's a band called The Replacements? I went, what? A cartoon and a band can have the same name? And you showed me the cover of Pleased to Meet Me, which I thought was really cool because Todd and Riley in the cartoon, I don't think they were twins, but they definitely looked alike. And in my brain, I thought, whoa, is this the band that wrote the theme song and they picked these guys because they had the same name as the cartoon? No, that was very far from the truth. But little me, my mind was blown like, wow, 2 different pieces of media share the same name. This is awesome.
Then you got older and cynical.
Yeah. Okay, first track, I Owe You. Message is simple. I owe you nothing. This could be about anybody. Could be society, parents, a landlord. You could fill in the blank with an authority figure that you don't want to own up to. I think my favorite lyric in the song is, never do what you're told, believe me, there'll be time when you're old. I like that a lot. I also interpret this song as about not being a sellout, especially because they reference the dotted line. That part you could argue refers to the music industry, in the same way in our last episode, Pink Floyd was calling out the suits with Have a Cigar. But as they say, it's not hopeless. Just follow our advice and you will be okay. But will we be okay? This guy seems to have a my way or the highway attitude himself, so maybe it's better if we follow the beat of our own drum here. Interesting to think about.
I got a question. This might be a circular logic type of thing.
Okay?
But if someone tells you never do what you're told and you decide you're going to do that, then
You're
aren't you
doing what you're
doing what you're
told.
told?
Yeah, that's why I have a problem with that song where he's like, just follow my way. And it's like, but then I'm doing what I'm told. The
It's like that Monty Python skit. We're all different. We're
Yes, we're
all
all
different.
individuals.
I'm not. Okay, now per the Replacements biography Trouble Boys by Bob Murr, IOU was inspired by Paul Westerberg getting an autograph from Iggy Pop.
Oh, cool.
And you know what Iggy wrote?
What?
I owe you nothing.
Good for Iggy.
That was it.
And Paul was like freaking out, like, oh my God.
No one can prove it, but Iggy wrote I owe you nothing. It's got an I and a G and a though somewhere in there, and that's like Ig. Anyway, I never knew this. The first line, "Get me out of this stinking fresh air," is from The Parent Trap.
Oh, from the 60s one?
The original 1961 version. It's spoken by Joanna Barnes as Gold Digger Vicki Robinson.
Oh,
And she's been
yeah.
like just harassed by the kids and bugs and all this, and she utters that line.
She's in the remake they did decades later.
I did not know that.
She plays Elaine Hendrix's mother in that one.
Huh.
Yeah, anyway.
I kind of think that Westerberg was aiming I owe you nothing at the record company and the fans. It's like, yeah, you signed us, but we're really not going to do what you say because we don't care. And with the fans, it was, we're going to do our music, and if you like it, fine. And if you
You
don't,
don't.
go listen to something else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because they would do shows where they would just come out and do like covers of the Bay City Rollers on purpose just to see if the audience would stick it out. And they kind of knew that those who did were the real
The
fans.
true fans, yeah.
Yeah. This is a great opener. I mean, it just rocks very hard.
Next track, Alex Chilton. I definitely had to do some research on this one, and I'm glad you sent me that track that he sang because he does not sound like a high schooler.
No.
He sounds like a mature adult. Alex Chilton was the lead singer of the Box Tops and Big Star. Other than influencing their placements, apparently his music also influenced REM and the Cramps. So this song...
Well, yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt because Alex Chilton produced one of their albums.
Oh, which one?
I believe it was their very first one,
That's
which
cool.
I can't remember the name of. I'm sorry, Cramps.
So this song is an ode to Alex, and I love it when musicians write tributes to the musicians they admire or especially looked up to in their youth. The most famous example I can think of being when Smokey Sings is a tribute to Smokey Robinson. My favorite lyric is an invisible man with an invisible voice. Because here's the thing, I googled what Alex Chilton looked like, and if you didn't know he was famous, you would just see this random white guy walking down the street. He blends in with everybody else. Maybe there's some envy in that lyric then, being able to still have some anonymity while still being relatively successful. And Genius Lyrics did point out that the Box Tops and Big Star weren't too commercially successful. And reading that, he gives me like a Nick Lowe vibe, someone who doesn't commercially dominate but is able to go out on tour because all his fans really do love him and he's very touched by it and loves them right back. And then after that, I googled a photo of Paul Westerberg, and he looks more distinct than most people. He gives me a bit of a Mick vibe, so maybe he couldn't have as much anonymity. I can also tell there might be some nods to Alex's songs sprinkled in musically, so this song is an interesting bit of music history for youngins like me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm surprised. Who was it who said that
Genius
the Bucks
Lyrics?
top weren't too successful? But they had number one hit with The Letter in 1967.
Which you said.
You can't get bigger than that. And they did actually have some other hits.
Okay.
Cry Like a Baby and Soul Deep. And, like you said, you hear that voice and you think, this can't be a
This can't be a
17-year-old kid.
No way.
He was also in the band Big Star, which was more of a cult power pop band in the early 70s.
Maybe it's that one then that wasn't as commercially
And I think
successful.
that Invisible Man with Invisible Voice, I
Yeah.
think that kind of can also refer to Alex Chilton's cult status.
Yeah, sure.
But Alex Chilton and the Replacements were mutual friends.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
Chilton actually played guitar on the very last song on the album, Can't Hardly Wait.
Oh, shit.
Lyrically, it seems like an alternate universe in which children by the millions sing for Alex Chilton when he comes round. And best line, I never travel far without a little big star.
Aw.
Great catchy power pop, which probably PO'd the punks though, but that being the case, They should refer to the previous song.
Next track. I don't know. I like those drums in that opening laugh. This song is really fun with the grunts and the saxophone, and it's also funny with the three guys going, I don't
Uh,
know, in such a mentally checked out tone. And I love how one of them is just a tad out of sync with the others because his no lingers just a little bit after everyone else. I interpret this song as it being about drugs and the subsequent sloth or ennui. Could be someone just wants all the pressure to go away, addiction numbs them up a bit, and they don't have to care. Meanwhile, the one member of their friend group is at first annoyed because his fellow friends don't have a plan, and then he starts shitting his pants when their lawyer calls on the phone, and it turns out he and his friends might be screwed. What's interesting is how the lyrics, one foot in the door, one foot in the gutter, the sweet smell they adore, I think I'd rather smother, clearly indicates he's done with their bullshit, but at the same time, he doesn't leave them. Maybe because they're friends, a sense of obligation, or because they're all stuck together in this band. Could be all of the above, but I could just listen to those I don't knows over and over.
yep,
And I might download the song on Spotify after this because I was like, yeah, that's really fun.
that's, I don't know, was like the non-committal list of all non-committal answers.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know.
And it almost seems like this probably happened to Westberg a lot with the other guys, because every question
Yeah.
that he asks them gets answered with, oh,
Do you think they realized this song was about them?
I don't know. Sorry, that's no pun intended.
I know.
But I thought the lines that you had said earlier, one foot in the door, the other one in the gutter, the sweet smell you adore, I think I'd rather smother. I think that kind of described the Matt situation at the time, because they were on a major label now, Sire Records, so they do have that one foot in the door, but they kind of still want to keep their outsider status by having the other one in the gutter.
That's fair.
And like that sweet smell that you adore, I think is aimed at the record execs, like, oh, you breathe, this rarefied air, but I think I'd rather smother.
Or it could also be, you think you're better than us, but really you're breathing in the smell of your own farts.
Mm. I guess that might happen a lot. Like, you make it big, but you're still trying to be true to yourself. You're not trying to lose your moorings, as it were, your bearings. Because you've got all these people going, hey, yeah, really great. Yeah,
Hey, kids!
hey, let's make a bunch of money. Yeah. And you're like, what the hell?
I just want to play my guitar.
Now, that sound that you heard at the beginning is
Yeah.
producer Jim Dickinson showing the Mats a drum machine, playing it for them, and they cracked up over the sounds that it made. They just thought it was funny.
Okay.
This is pretty much straightforward rock. Teenage Steve Douglas plays the baritone sax. He was part of the Wrecking Crew back in the 60s,
Oh, okay.
and they played on a lot of Phil Spector productions and almost everyone else's songs in the 60s. I mean, there's a good chance if you were a vocal group, the Wrecking Crew was your backup band.
Next track, Nightclub Jitters. So the opening gives me the vibe of a slightly seedy 60s or 50s jazz bar you'd see in a Technicolor film that advertises made in Technicolor. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this song. Music-wise and singing-wise, hear me out. I could hear Joe Jackson singing this easily. Can you hear it too?
A little.
Because it was reminding me of Right and Wrong when I was listening to
Okay.
it. Vocally, it sounds similar. The replacements also perfectly captured the vibe they wanted to set, because you do hear people at clubs saying before they enter, do you think we parked in the right place? Or, wait, what's the cover fee again? Answer, park up the street from Free Play or in the paid parking lot next door, and it's 12 hours, $12 Friday through Saturday, $8 the other days of the week. I think what scares this guy is running into other people in the dark, the critters, and also maybe anyone else shady hanging out nearby who may or may not have a switchblade. He might also just be antisocial too, as he says when the club regulars say, don't be a stranger, and he goes, it really don't matter to me. I'd be willing to wager that it don't matter much if we keep in touch. Which brings me to my pitch. Nightclubs for introverts or antisocial people.
They wouldn't show up.
Fair point. But maybe just like quiet time playing softly and having fun. I think what he needs though is a bar that'd leave him alone, but maybe he wants more of a nightclub ambiance, like he wants to have his cake and eat it too. I love this song. I'd play it driving to Free Play easily.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's like, yeah, it's another night, another circuit of clubs to hit. And, they ask, what's the cover? Where should we park? But then Westerberg comes up with this unique idea. Stay at home once, just for a lark, just to see what happens. And yeah, he does get told not to be a stranger, but he realizes that it's just lip service because you know, he'd, like you said before, he'd be willing to wager that it don't matter much if we keep in touch because
Mhm.
it just ain't gonna happen.
Mhm.
And yeah, this is played as cocktail jazz with Westerberg on piano,
Mhm.
Mars on drums, Tommy Stinson on upright bass, and this time Prince Gabe plays the sax. And again, it's totally unexpected musical style from the Replacements. Cocktail jazz, Replacements. I cannot bang my head to this unless I was really, 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 really drunk.
You might be banging your head into stuff.
Mm,
Next track, I think my favorite on the album,
really?
The Ledge. Not to be confused with the Fleetwood Mac one, I guess. That was the one that popped up first when I was Googling lyrics. First thing I said when I heard that guitar, and I said this appreciatively, was, "Oh, fuck!" I love this song as dark as it is. A man is on a ledge and he jumps. It's all told from his point of view. It's an interesting perspective because he's made up his mind. He will jump. But he watches the events below him with, I think it's fair to say, a detached curiosity. And for me, the darkest part of this song is when he sings about how he can smell coffee and donuts for the press. That utterly got me.
That would have gotten me off the ledge. Can I have some donuts? Sure, come in. Okay.
Because normally people find the smell of coffee and donuts very comforting, but it's not for him. They haven't even offered it to him as like, would you like to have one to get him down? Like you'll have to come down in order to get it, as you said. Or maybe even an innocent bystander, like a child looking up and saying, "Mister, do you want a donut?" So innocent and sweet. And it's so cold how something as warm and simple as coffee and donuts have become part of this spectacle of watching this man die. The girl who doesn't talk to anymore is being called, a policeman is trying to get him to come down, the priest is praying, and it's all meaningless. His mind is made up, and he jumps, and it rocks. For the first time in his life, he's the center of attention, and he finally feels love being sent his way, but it's too late because it falls just short of the ledge. I love this song so much.
Okay. So Westerberg sings about how all eyes are on him above the filthy streets.
Mm-hmm.
And I never looked at it as like a man jumping. I always thought it was like a teenager because he sings, I'm the boy they can't ignore for the first time in my life, I'm sure.
Yeah,
So this
sure.
was just like someone who just was going through life not being noticed and then figured out, well, there's only one way
I
to
get
get
noticed
noticed.
this, yeah.
And then at the end, he sings, I'm the boy for the last time in my life. And you just know it's not going to end well.
No,
And it does not.
nope.
And someone at the label decided that this should be the first single.
It rocks, though.
It does. I have to give it that. It really does. The music is menacing and it's also hopeless.
Mm,
Um, the Replacements made a video for this, which MTV rejected due to the song's content. So it
mm.
was a lose-lose situation. Hey, we spent all this money on a video, MTV. MTV, hey, we're not showing it.
All right. Next track, Never Mind. Imagine if this was the follow up to The Ledge where he went, "Never mind, I'm coming down."
Psych.
That'd be funny. While looking up the song's lyrics, I learned this was about Paul's ambivalence about firing the Replacement's lead guitarist, which I don't think you need to know in order to appreciate this song. Everybody has burned a bridge at some point in their life, intentionally or unintentionally. But my boss Kathy has a great quote to paraphrase: "Burning down bridges leaves room to build new ones." Which I
Oh.
love. She's fearless. Anyway, this song is about realizing there's no going back. You can't apologize further. That might rub salt into the wound or seem meaningless. The listener doesn't see a chance of being forgiven or wanting to forgive and knows if they were trying to reconnect, there'd be a shouting match and it'd be one big mess all over again, so let's not even bother. The song perfectly encapsulates frustration with the situation and an attempt to not care about the outcome, so you get the message she's trying to put across.
So Westerberg starts off singing, absolution is out of the question because sometimes saying sorry just isn't gonna help.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're dumping all this tea in the Boston Harbor, and I'm sorry, Charlie, saying sorry isn't gonna help. I'll cover you this time.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, whatever happened, it's just too big, and he can't find the right words. And he even sings, he thought he had them, but left them behind. So, you know what? Never mind. It's not going to make a difference. And I think the lines, all over but the shouting, just a waste of time, could be about the band itself, because they it was kind of like the beginning of the end. Bob Stinson was gone. They were a trio. Were they going to last? And he says,
Mm,
I suppose your guess is more or less as bad as mine. He goes, I don't know. I'm in the band. You don't know. You're a fan. Let's
I don't
find
know.
out.
Next track, Valentine. Okay, time for me to self-report. Once when I was a kid, I went to La Salette Shrine for Christmas with Bachi, Auntie, and Mom. We get out, I look up in the sky and I see something shiny. I think it's a star and I wish on it. Then it moved and started blinking red.
Oh no.
Bachi laughed and went, wished upon an airplane. I felt so dumb. This relationship doesn't sound healthy to me. Why? Well, first he says if she was a pill, he'd take a handful. But what makes it really unhealthy is when he says he'd knock those pills back with something sweet and strong. And as everyone knows, you do not mix pills and alcohol. He also doesn't see her as staying in his life that long. But I think underneath the sneering singer's exterior, he does want love in his life. He just knows that what he has now isn't sustainable between the two of them, even if he finds her rather interesting and or addictive. I could see this being on an anti-Valentine's Day playlist, or rather a resentful Valentine's Day playlist, like I'm in love and this situation sucks.
Yeah, it does start off cynical. Like you said, well, you wish upon a star that turns into a plane.
Mm-hmm.
So, too bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but whoever this person is, Westerberg is addicted because he does sing, if you were a pill, I'd take a handful at my will and I'd knock you back with something sweet and strong. It's like he definitely is going to OD on her. He doesn't care no matter what. But he's not sure if that sentiment is being returned because he also sings, are you strung out on some face? Well, I know it ain't mine.
Mm,
And I think he reconciles himself to the fact that, yeah, this is probably just going to be a one night stand because if tonight belongs to you, then tomorrow's mine. It's like he's bracing himself for the morning after. And it's pretty much straight ahead pop. Didn't become a hit though, but they took a shot. And like you said, I mean, this would definitely be on an anti
yes.
Valentine's Day list.
Next track, Shooting Dirty Pool. I stink at pool. I am perfectly fine not playing it. An ex tried to teach me once, still wasn't good. Louisa and her friend tried to get me to do it at 133 once during one of Uncle Joey's gigs, and I was sweating because we were playing against these big burly guys who looked like they stepped out of On the Waterfront and took it seriously instead of playing for shits and giggles. So at a birthday party recently where the guests were playing pool, I just watched from the couch, very happy to be on the sidelines. I see this song as being about a couple of punks used in the derogatory sense of the word, at a bar who are shooting off at the mouth looking to pick a fight. And when one of them says someone looks like a girl with their hair cut, that's it, someone's getting decked. The guitar is aggressive as anything and it rules, perfectly suiting the vibe of the song. I really like it, but I don't think I could save it to my playlist. It would make me too angry.
Um, I thought this kind of sounded like a rant against someone who badmouthed the Replacements on the radio because he
Ah,
sings, I heard it on the airwaves, and they're shooting dirty pool, which means they're not playing fair. They're also spewing dirty lies, but the badmouth is challenged to get a spine, get their money on the table, kind of like put up or shut up, and get their head out of their ass. And Westerberg baits the guy with that line, why don't you get a haircut, sister? Then you hear the sound of breaking glass. Shout out to Nick Lowe. And oh, you hear someone scream, that's it. And oh, yeah, it's
it's
on.
that's done, yeah.
And for some reason, I don't know why, I've never been able to put my finger on it. This music reminds me of Batman, the 1960s Batman. It's got that.
And you can just see them going wham,
Yeah, or
pow, pop.
yeah, like the fight scene music or even some sort of like 60s TV spy show. It just has
Okay.
that vibe. Like I said, I can't put my finger on it, but it just reminds me of that.
Next track, Red Red Wine.
What color is it?
Did you know there's such a thing as a red wine boldness chart?
Like the redder the better?
Well, just to see like what the darkest and the lightest is. According to Wine Folly, the boldest red wine is Tanat and the lightest is Schiava. Portugal also has some red wine grapes, and I think it's Michel, that run with red juice.
Really?
Yeah,
Because wow, because I knew their specialty is Vinho Verde, the
yeah,
green wine.
yeah, but there's one place apparently. Now, I thought red wine on Sundays was a reference to church, but apparently one of the band members' grandparents used to give them red wine when they'd come over to the house. I like to think this song is poking fun of the wine snobs who make their hobby of wine tasting annoying for other people. I've never understood the appeal of wine. Maybe that's because I used to take sips of it as a kid in church. It's so bitter. I'd rather have grape juice or Martinelli's. These guys don't care. It doesn't have to have a year on it. As long as it gets them drunk, they're happy. So get them a big box of boxed wine and they'll be A-okay. And I wonder, is this any wine snob's favorite song or guilty pleasure song? Hmm?
Could be. Yeah, so no fancy stuff for Westerberg, no white wine, just red wine if you would. I like how he has that,
Yeah.
because manners do matter. Best line, now I ain't no connoisseur cat. I think you guessed that. And it's just, set 'em up till they're dead. There is that line, just like Martin said. I have no idea who Martin is,
Mm.
because for me, I always thought the line was just like Mahjong said.
Oh.
So, and that's
Uh,
and that's me being sober. Um, Good sloppy playing to match the lyrics,
yes.
and this is definitely not Neil Diamond's Red Red Wine, which is
No.
a sad song where he's just like, she left me, I'm sad, I'm gonna get drunk to cure my blue, blue heart.
On a bottle of wine.
Yep.
I'll never forget one day, it was a Friday, and Uncle Joey's former coworker was like, people were going, "Hey, how you doing?" And she's like, "It's a bottle of wine when I get home kind of night."
Uh-huh. I think when you mentioned earlier about the grandparents giving the kids
Yeah,
red wine, I think that's probably could be like an Italian thing.
maybe, yeah. Well,
I mean, it's
European.
it's going to be like a small glass. It's not going to be, hey, here's a gallon,
No, no, no.
go crazy.
Absolutely not.
I mean, because isn't that the thing like in like France and Italy that
They give them a little bit of wine with dinner.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think that's why they're able to handle it better as they're adults.
yeah.
Next track, Skyway. My first note, this sounds happy. And this song really isn't happy, it's more sensitive and vulnerable. Westerberg is from Minnesota, as you said, and their twin cities, St. Paul and Minneapolis, have skyways. You can look them up on Google, they're really cool. And I think the closest thing we would have is that skyway that connects the Omni to the convention center.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know the one. Now, anyway, one day while walking underneath the skyway, he sees someone pretty who captures his attention. She is literally and figuratively above him. And when he meets her in the skyway, he's tongue tied, or rather, he keeps his mouth shut because he feels it's hopeless and can never be. You do feel bad for the guy because there is a touch of the romantic there, and I'd love to see a music video filmed for this in the vein of an indie movie. Curious as to what brought out the side of the band that made them tell this story in this song.
I look at the song as like missed opportunities. When Westerberg is on the street, she's in the skyway. At the end, he's in the skyway as he catches her, quote, walking down that little one way where the place I'd catch my ride most every day.
Mm-hmm.
Except today.
Except today.
Son of a.
Bitch.
Yeah. So yeah, this is mostly Paul Westerberg and a sad acoustic guitar. Now, I assume that Minneapolis had a skyway, like one major one, because it's damn cold in the winter, but
Nope, there's a lot.
they have a skyway system that's 10 miles of pathways
It's really cool.
covering 80 blocks.
Yeah.
Each skyway is owned by the buildings they connect, so there's no uniform opening and closing time. So keep this in mind when making evening plans, as I was advised to on the Skyway website. Most of them are connected to hotels, but there's also restaurants and, since it's Minneapolis, 2 Targets, with one of them being the anchor store of the Target empire.
Oh.
And you can also sign up for a walking tour of the Skyway. And there's even a PDF map, and it's incredible. It's like this massive rectangle of the Skyway going like around all these blocks.
Oh, that's cool.
And like you said, meanwhile, we just have one in Rhode Island. I always thought it was connecting the convention center to Providence Place.
Yeah, there's one that does that too. But
So there's two. Oh, we have 2.
Maybe. There might be one for the Omni. I've definitely been in the Providence Place one connected to the convention center.
So there's probably 2 then.
Yeah.
And that's as good as it's going to get, and that's probably all we ever need. This is not to be confused with the Sky Bridge. We have 2 of those.
But
We have the India Point Park one, and then we have the one for East Providence High School, which no one uses.
Oh, yeah. But also, there'll probably only be one Skyway when Providence Place Mall forecloses. I don't know if they'll keep it or if they'll knock it down or whatever, or if they'll close it off. We shall see. Final track. Can't hardly wait. My brain fills in the rest with To See You Come of Age, even though that's Can Hardly Wait. Having listened to the box tops The Letter, I understand what people mean when they say Can't Hardly Wait is a sequel to The Letter. I interpret this song as a guy on the road trying to look toward his constant, his North Star, home. Once the tour is over, he'll be able to go home and rest. But in the meantime, to feel some sort of connection to home, he writes a letter to be sent out in the mail. And he has to write it tomorrow because tonight he's got a play and he might be too stoned afterwards. He's done with the rock and roll lifestyle for now and he needs a break. He's disgusted with it and how he doesn't seem to have enough. So maybe when he gets home, he'll be able to get away from this darker side of himself that wants to partake in all this filth.
Hmm. It kind of seems to be about touring, like staying in crummy hotels with lights that flash in the evening through a crack in the drapes, and you're just trying to get to sleep and you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Being high and lonesome, and you know, he's going to write that letter tomorrow because tonight he can barely hold the pen because he may be stoned or drunk or both.
Mm-hmm.
But it, like the whole being on tour, it's just gotten the Westerberg. And he says, "Ain't you had enough of this stuff? Ashtray floors, dirty clothes, and filthy jokes."
Yeah.
And he sings, "He'll be home when he's sleeping." And that's the thing that he can hardly wait for,
Mm-hmm.
just for the whole touring thing to be
Be
over.
over.
And again, very pop. It's got horns courtesy of Wayne Jackson and Ben Cauley Jr. from the Memphis Horns. Since Jim Dickinson produced the album, you knew at some point that you were going to have the Memphis Horns on at least one track.
Okay.
Westerberg reluctantly consented to the horns, but objected to the strings, which may have been added by Dickinson after the band finished recording.
Oops.
It might have been, "Hey, guess what I did?" What the? Um, True Replacements fans are required to hate this song because of the strings and the horns.
Oh, I don't know if I hate it, so I'm not a true fan.
And this also inspired a movie of the same name starring Jennifer Love Hewitt. And Can't Hardly Wait gets played over the end credits of the movie. So you have to wait like 90 minutes or so. Or in
Just
this
fast forward
day
on
and age, you could,
DVD.
or whatever you streaming kids do.
Mm-hmm. Overall, I liked a couple of replacement songs. I wish they had a bigger status or weren't as on the fringe because even the ones that didn't grab me were really well done. We should be listening to them more. And I'm also grateful for this episode because it made me appreciate that They Might Be Giants send up even more. That was great. And some replacement fans had never heard of the They Might Be Giants before, but they found that song and they got into them via that. I saw in the comments.
Huh.
So if you want to dip your toes into the water with the replacements, please go ahead and listen to this one.
Okay. I love this album. I'm glad I have it. And for a different side of the replacements, you should check out their 8-song EP called Stink. Absolute hardcore. You cannot believe it's the same band. It's 8 very short songs. My favorite one is called, excuse my language here, Goddamn Job. And it goes, God damn it, I need a goddamn job.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be cussing out the job once he finally gets one. It's like it's like someone made a reel on Instagram saying me when I was begging for a job and me when I was employed, and it's like, yeah, they both suck. But I will say, unemployment sleep can't be beat. That's the only thing I miss. All right, as always, thank you for listening to my dad listens to this. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Remember, the greater you interact with the YouTube video, the more chance we have of appearing on the YouTube homepage. If you follow me on social media, I post the episodes there. If you're friends with my dad, tell him what you want to listen to, and I'll send it right to your email inbox. As always, thank you for listening to the latest installment of My Dad Listens to This. We will be back next time with another album to pick a gripe about. Dad, anything you want to say before we sign off?
I don't know.
I don't know.